Welcome back to Carpentry with me. Today's Thursday tips are drop saw safety tips. Now, some people may or may not have used drop saws. If you're in carpentry, building, just in the trades in general, you would have used one. These are just basic tips. I'm not going to go into too much detail about the different types of cuts, but it's just more where to place your hands, what to look for, what not to do, and what cuts not to do. So this timber is just for show. Usually I'd cut something that big on a skill saw, circular saw. In today's episode I'll just cover how you'd hold this. If the longer length is that way and there's a chance of it tipping, you want to put all your weight on this side of the timber so that that doesn't fling up and then keep the guard up, all sorts of problems. So we can avoid that. So some people, they struggle with not being able to use their non-dominant hand with the trigger, but if you're cutting with the drop saw, you don't want to cross your arms essentially, so you want to hold the longer length of timber with the side that it's on. So for this side it's my right hand, which is my dominant, and then you want to use your non-dominant. You never want to do this, because if that saw kicks, like so, if that saw kicks, it's going to come over the side of the arm. I personally haven't seen it happen, and all our chippies know the correct way to use drop saws. The next thing you want to do is, if you're building your own saw bench, you want to make sure that when your timber's sitting on it, it's flush. Now, that's when a good length of timber's on, ours sits nice and flush. If you don't have it, if these blocks here, say, are sitting high, what happens is the board sits above the base, and then as you're cutting through, it wants to collapse, like when you're cutting a piece of timber in between two saw stools. It wants to collapse, and then that blade's going to kick back. And yes, it has a guard, and you're probably not going to get hurt by that, but it scares the crap out of you. So something I saw a YouTuber doing is, when he wanted to notch out, say, a bit of timber like that, he was doing rafters. And no, it's not a carpenter. He was doing the notch cuts basically in the centre of the base with no back support. I only recommend this if you're confident with a drop saw, and you'll also need the backing plate on here, which we don't use at the moment because we're only doing trim and cedar, etc. But you want to put a backing block on here, and if your drop saw is that low, then you need to clamp this down so it doesn't move, and that way when you're cutting through like so, it's not gonna want to kick up. The way he was doing it, it could have easily been pulled up in. I've seen that happen a few times in different areas. But this is a good way to keep it safe. And it also means that if you set the depth of your saw, you can pack the saw out, obviously with quite a bit of timber, you can pack the saw out so that you get the full depth of the blade running through your notch. That's an easy way to do it. I might show you now a quick way to do the notch, but I'll do it on its flat because I don't have a clamp handy and I don't know where these plates are. Obviously, if I was doing that for something other than a demonstration, it'd be a lot neater. That's how you do a safe notch. First thing I got taught when I got demonstrated how to use a drop saw, the first thing that foreman said was, don't cut your wedges on a drop saw. Basics of it was, I got told, treat the drop saw as a cross-cut saw, so you're cutting it across the grain. Don't sit your timber like that, because once again, if it wants to lift, you've got next to nothing at the back supporting. That's why you always need to have a minimum width of timber as well, so that you're not cutting little bits or anything silly like that. learn from those before you, I say. So they told me never to do it and I haven't. I've tried and I don't want to. So this is my tip. Keep it as a cross-cut saw. Sweet, so that's carpentry and me drop saw tips. Thanks for watching. See you next time.